The UDRcast is not affiliated and does not represent any 12-step fellowship. I, Bill Ward, the host of the UDRcast, will be sharing my experience and my journey of recovery. That does include, but is not limited to, the literature contained in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps. Our guests will be sharing their own path to recovery and what has worked for them. The UDRcast encourages and supports all paths to recovery. Welcome everybody to the UDRcast. UDR stands for Uncover, Discover, and Recover. My name is Bill Ward, and I'm coming to you from the recovery capital of Canada, Calgary, Alberta. Here we are going to discuss everything recovery, different perspectives, different experiences, both with the people I know and with others from around the world. If you resonate with anything you've heard on this episode today, we ask that you share it with anyone who you think may benefit from it. If you have any questions or comments, please find us at billward.life and send us a message in the info section. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. If you are interested in more recovery content, you can find the buttons for the YouTube channel and other social media outlets on the homepage, and you will be redirected to those platforms. We can recover, one person, one family, one community at a time. If we don't have the willingness to take this vital step, we may not overcome drinking. And my friend alluded to some of that promise in that sentence, right? The word vital, when we first get here and we read this literature, it means like fucking important. But really, what I found as sobriety's gone along, and these step fives have been done over and over, and a step five is done at the podium, a step five is done when I sponsor, a step five is done when I talk to my sponsor or my pillars about my life, because I'm getting shit out. I'm talking with God and another human being about the things in myself that block me off from God. And the word vital actually means vitality. It means I can live my best life. It'll actually frees me from it just being important, and it becomes important to living the best life that I can. And if we don't do these things, these, directions, like you can call them suggestions all you want. The book was written for the medical fraternity and for the family and for the alcoholic. They weren't suggestions for the alcoholic. They were suggestions for the medical fraternity and for the family and for the employer, not for the alcoholic. But, the book was written by Bill W. And when he wrote the book originally, he actually had directions in there, I think about 6 times. Since the revision of the book by the first 100, they took out a number of the directions and they only left 2. But one of the important ones, there's 2 of them. It says, further on, clear-cut directions are showing how we have recovered. And when we think of recovery, when we first get here, it's like I recover from a substance because that's what I came here for. But once you stick around here and you understand the illness a little more, you recover from a spiritual malady. That if you follow be sold on the ideas contained in the book, and you recover from a spiritual malady. And the word recovery means, a process of recovering from an illness or an injury. And the process never really ends, right? And one of my favorite lines in the book where it talks about directions in the step 10, it says, if you have carefully followed directions, you will have felt the flow of the Spirit into you. To some extent, you've become God conscious. You've begun to develop this vital sixth sense. And it's that vital sixth sense that I've never been in touch with. It's that all-knowing and the knowledge and the power that actually guides my life, and it's based in love. It talks about God is the fundamental idea, and he's within every man, woman, and child. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I see love in every man, woman, and child. And I really see it in the children. I really see it in God as I understood him when I was a God. I was pure. I was that entity of God. But it's often obscured. And obscured doesn't mean gone. Obscured means blocked off. It's kind of like I see 10 panes of window and I look at the sun. I can still see the light, but I can't see the sun. So I know that it's there, but I can't see the definition of it really. Often obscured by calamity, pomp, and worship of other things. And to me, it's the pomp and the worship. The pomp is self that we can't see, that we learn through doing a step 5. That's the beginning learning of a pomp of self. And then the worship of other things that also involves the pomp. And the worship of other things is okay. On a pie chart in today's life, what am I worshiping? You know, when I was brand new, I worshiped a whole bunch of things. I worshiped women. I worshiped money. I worshiped jobs. I worshiped myself. And I never really gave a fuck much about other people. Although when I lived my life, my intention was good and I didn't want to hurt people. But when you just live with the best of intention, or at least me, when I lived with the best of intention, I was stepping on the toes of my fellows and they were retaliating, seemingly without provocation. What did I actually do to you? But invariably, I found that making these decisions based on self that I didn't know because they were blinded with intention, that I actually did step on the toes of people. And it was through mind and emotional manipulation. It was through my anger. It was through, shunning people or fucking slamming a door a certain way or trying to get something out of somebody and, presenting it as kindness and generosity. But really, if they didn't give it to me, I would fucking promote anger and judgment and all these kind of things. And it really describes that well in the actor story in the step 3. So that step 5 is critical. And I think one of the things that I see people make mistakes on as they stay sober is they kind of get this. They think they got this and they don't need to bounce all their ideas off other people. And I see a lot of people relapse because of what my friend said. I can rationalize and justify the most errant nonsense in my life to suit every action I do or every inaction I do. And the alcoholic life is the only normal one, even in sobriety. Because I'm still inexperienced in building the relationship with God, because the pomp and the worship and the calamity are still there. And I still got to carve this path because I got fucking 30 years of an old path that I need to walk in a new brush. I need to walk in the brush and I need to experience new fruit. I need to break branches. I need to carve that path. And if I carve that path enough, I can start walking that path freely. And that's what recovery's given me. It's given me the ability to live life in such a beautiful, different way that I didn't actually even know was possible. And I'll finish with this. The thing that I learned, many things, but one of the things I've learned is I cannot intellectualize the experience of what my life will be if I allow God in it. Because God's an experience. And by going through the pomp and worship and looking at the calamities and that fucking pain that it takes to do that, that's where that diamond is. That's where the humility is that the big book talks about. This precious quality that is required for more than just sobriety. It gives me the faith that can meet any emergency. It allows me to have fucking some true happiness in my life. So if you're new or you're struggling, you're coming back and you got a problem with drugs, alcohol, really it's life. We got a solution for you in the big book in the first 103 pages if you follow it. And it's not a philosophical solution. It's a practical application of following some directions. And the results become a really good life. Thank you for tuning in to the THEUDRCAST. We hope you have enjoyed this episode. The viewpoints and the opinions expressed today were solely of the individual sharing them. If you resonated with this episode, please follow us and share this link with anyone that may benefit from it. Please visit us at Billwardlife to see everything that we have going on. We can recover, one person, one family, one community at a time.